Hey guys, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And if this is your first time here, I want to thank you for checking out my channel. If you're a regular, welcome back. This is a movie channel, so everything I talk about here is movie related. I do reviews, top 10 lists, collection updates, and videos like this one that I post every week where I give you guys a few selections for Blu-rays and rentals to watch at home, as well as a few picks for anyone who wants to head out and see a movie in the theater. So if this is the type of content you're interested in, this is the point where I tell you to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you know when I upload my videos. And before I get into my picks for this week, I just want to let you guys know that I am working on a new Criterion segment for the upcoming weekend, and it is going to be in the new format because the July sale is over. So what I'm going to be doing moving forward is picking 2 or 3 movies, and we're going to pick them apart, review them, I'll give you my thoughts on them. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that because I really do enjoy the Criterion Collection, as I know many of you do as well. So I'm really looking forward to working that back into the regular content on the channel. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that, and you can, like I said, you can look forward to that coming up this weekend. So I'm going to get into my picks for this week, and the first one just came out this week, and it is called Marrowbone. And this was a really quiet release, and now that I've seen it, I think it's a really underrated movie because I really had very, very low expectations for this one. I watched the trailer and I was kind of like, eh, but let me tell you, after seeing it, I really think this is a really, really good movie. And it's classified as a horror movie. It's rated R for some violence, but not a lot of craziness goes on, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a horror movie, because I think if you go into it with that horror mindset, you might be a little let down. I would say more of a thriller drama type of thing. So I'll tell you what it's about. We meet this family early on. It's a mom and her 4 kids. 3 of them are like teenagers, young teenagers. And then we have a little guy who's probably 7 or 8 years old. And they are hiding from someone because they go to the mother's abandoned vacant childhood home, and she tells them, we'll be safe here, he'll never find us here, but we don't know who he is. They also agree that they're going to take her childhood last name of Marrowbone, so hence the name of the title. And they're going to stay in this home, and they believe they're going to be safe here. And we find out later in the movie who this person is that's looking for them, but I am not going to get into that because that's spoiler territory. So they stay in this home, they agree how they're going to live, nobody leaves the house, nobody comes in. Very early on in the movie, the mom passes away, and before she dies, she tells her oldest son that he is responsible for taking care of his 3 younger siblings. He agrees, and when the mother passes away, the 4 siblings make a pact that no matter what happens, they are going to stay together. They also agree how things are going to go. He is the only one who leaves the house. He goes into town, he gets supplies, he gets whatever they need, and he brings them back. He also has a girlfriend in town, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who does a fantastic job as always, and he stops in to see her. He'll sit at the beach with her, he'll take a walk with her. And this leads to a little bit of tension when he comes home because the other siblings are obviously getting a little bit restless because they can't leave the home. And he explains to them that, hey, listen, this is the deal, this is how we do it, and he kind of throws them out of his room and dismisses everything. That is pretty much what I can tell you about the movie without totally spoiling everything. What I can tell you is that this is a beautifully shot movie. Some of the cinematography in this movie is absolutely stunning. The setting for the home is perfect. It's got that eerie, creepy feeling to it. The woods around it, the overgrown yard, the whole deal. It's got everything going on that it needs to have. Also, when he goes into the town is a quaint little town, very, very nice. Everything looks great. This movie is a great looking movie. As far as it moving along, it moves along at a nice clip. It never felt dragged out. I never felt bored. There's a few really decent, good jump scares, but nothing too crazy where you're constantly feeling like you're on the edge of your seat. But yeah, everything in this movie kind of works really well. And towards the second act, we start to put the pieces of the story together, and we find out who it is that they're in hiding from and why. And then towards the third act, things started to feel a little chaotic and a little confusing and a little muddled. And then the ending. The ending, once again, just like the last few weeks, we have another film with an ending that kind of changes everything and pulls the whole movie together. And then they do a flashback where they show you everything that happened and what really happened and what caused this ending. And that really changed everything for me. What I can tell you is my one little beef with it is even with that really good ending, and it's an ending that's been done before, but it's done really well in this movie. But even with that ending and the explanation of the film, there's still a few plot holes that I would have liked to have seen filled in or gotten more information about. But that would be my only beef, because they could have done a little better job in a few areas. But other than that, it's a really solid movie. And because of the ending and the flashback, I think there's high rewatchability in this one, so that's why I would say it's a safe blind buy, because I know I am going to go back and watch it again, but I think every time you watch it after you know that ending, you're going to see it through different eyes, and you're going to have a different experience. So yeah, I would definitely say Marrowbone is a go. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 if I had to rate it on a scale. It's not a perfect movie, but it is so much better than I thought it was going to be, and I think it's really underrated, but definitely I think it's worth your time. So I'm going to link it in the description. You guys can check it out. It's available for streaming, I'm sure, but if you want to check it out on Blu-ray, I'll link it below so you can get it. But yeah, either way, give it a look. It's a good one. And my next two are ones that I picked out of my collection because Marrowbone was the only new release that I really wanted to talk about this week. This one is from 1997. It stars Brad Pitt, and it is 7 Years in Tibet. This is based on the true story of a gentleman named Heinrich, who is an Austrian climber. He's a mountain climber. And he takes off in 1939. He leaves his wife and infant son behind to go climbing in the Himalayas. And he doesn't know if he's going to return. He just leaves them behind and goes. He's captured and he becomes a prisoner of war. He escapes and he ends up in Tibet. While he's in Tibet, he is summoned by the 14th Dalai Lama, who is the current Dalai Lama. He's a child at that time, and he wants to meet Heinrich because he hears about, you know, this man who's in Tibet. So he meets with the Dalai Lama, and they become friends because the Dalai Lama has questions of him. He wants to know things. Heinrich talks to him. They spend a lot of time together, and they form a friendship, a genuine friendship that ends up lasting Heinrich's entire life. I think he lived until he was either 93 or 96, and they remained friends the entire time. But this is a beautiful movie. It's a beautifully shot movie. It is absolutely gorgeous the way they show everything in Tibet, and they show the people of Tibet and the art and everything that was there. And it also takes us up to the time when the Chinese come in to take over Tibet, and the Dalai Lama actually has to leave because he is in danger of losing his life. So it takes us right up to that point, and there's some pretty hardcore things that go on in this movie. And again, this one is rated PG-13, so it's not horrible, but there are some things there that are a little traumatic that they show when the Chinese come in to take over. But this is really the story of Heinrich and the Dalai Lama and their friendship. And the Dalai Lama, for as young as he is in this movie, really changes Heinrich, and he makes him a different person. And he makes him really take a look at who he is and how his actions affect everyone. And it makes him a different man. So Brad Pitt is phenomenal in this. And I can tell you, if you haven't seen this movie, you owe it to yourself to give it a look, because it is a wonderful, beautiful movie. And it's about a wonderful friendship. And it's really, I can't recommend it enough. It's a great one. And I'm going to link it in the description because you can pick it up. I'm not sure if you can stream it online. I'm sure you can stream it somewhere, but I know you can pick up the DVD, and it's not that expensive, so I'll definitely link it below. But yeah, 7 Years in Tibet, it's a great one. And this one, I picked this one up because it's so much fun, and I think this is from 2010. It's not that long ago. It's inspired by true events. It's called Pirate Radio, and it stars Philip Seymour Hoffman. And this takes place in the 1960s at a time when it was illegal to broadcast any music besides classical music in the United Kingdom. So what ended up happening is these DJs who wanted to broadcast, say, rock and roll music, they got on these big boats and they went out to sea where they could broadcast legally any music they wanted to do. And that's what we have. We have a boat full of guys, and we follow them on their daily life. We see the hijinks they pull on each other. They play jokes on each other. They play games. They make fun of each other. They drink. They party. They have groupies brought in by boat so that they can party with the girls on the weekends. It's basically a frat house on the water that plays music, but it's a lot of fun. And Philip Seymour Hoffman is fantastic in this. It was great to see him in a role where he wasn't stoic or creepy or just the weird, off-putting guy. He was really, really good, and he was a lot of fun in this one. And you see the DJs and how they go back and forth and how competitive they really are. But really, ultimately, it's all about the music. And I love music. Almost as much as movies, I love music. So I love movies with good music, and this has great, great music in it. If you like the classics like The Who, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, all that music from like the late 60s, you're going to love this movie. There's not a huge plot. Like I said, the plot is really that they're out at sea, and you see a little bit back on the mainland where the administrators in the UK are trying to make what they're doing illegal. They're trying to find a loophole to make what they're doing illegal. And it wasn't, I think, until the 1970s that they were actually allowed to broadcast from the mainland without it being a problem. So, yeah, this is a really, really great movie. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, not a big plot, but it's a great popcorn movie. So I think you're really going to enjoy this. And like I said, if you like music and you just want to put your feet up and have a good time, definitely check out Pirate Radio. It's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. I'll link it in the description so you can check it out, but it's a good one. So those are my picks for home. And as for this theater, we still have Mission Impossible Fallout that's doing great. We have Equalizer 2, which is still out there. Mamma Mia's hanging in there. We have Hotel Transylvania 3 in there. And actually, I went and saw 8th Grade this past weekend. And I can tell you, if you have a child who is in that age group, the 8th grade, like 8th grade, middle school, maybe going as a freshman and going in to be a freshman in high school, it is a really good movie for them to see because it really explores that awkwardness, that weird time where they don't really know how they're going to fit in or where they fit in. And you definitely see that the girl who plays the main character, she's way more involved in her phone than dealing with her father, who happens to be a single dad. And he's just trying to get through to her. He doesn't know how to get through to her. And it's just, it explores all those things that I think everybody goes through at that age, or any parent goes through with a child at that age. So I think if you have someone that age, it's a really good film to see. Very appropriate. They're definitely playing to that younger demographic, as they should. And there's actually a beautiful conversation, very heartfelt conversation that takes place later in the movie between the father and the daughter, where you see that they really do connect, and it's a really nice moment. But I actually saw a few articles where they said that A24 is offering some free screenings for 8th graders to see 8th grade. So you might want to do your homework and see if any of that is going to be going on near you. So, and even if it's not, it's definitely worth going out and worth the buy. So definitely check out 8th grade. And opening up this week, we have, of course, The Meg, which is the big new shark movie, the Megalodon shark movie. So that looks to be interesting. And there's another one, a horror movie called Slender Man, and I guess it's people go on, a bunch of students go on the internet because they're trying to decide if they think Slender Man is a real thing or not, and apparently it turns into a big horror movie. So I don't know, that looks like it could be decent. I would check out the trailer before you go see that, because there wasn't a lot of information about that. But there's that one. And then I have to look on my phone for this one because I constantly get the name wrong. And I don't like to look on my phone, but in some cases you just have to. Okay, this one is called Black K Klansman. Black K Klansman. And it comes from Spike Lee, and it is the true story of the first African-American police officer in the Colorado Springs Police Department. And what he does is he decides to take on and expose the KKK. And it looks to be an amazing movie. Adam Driver is one of the stars, and it looks great. So definitely check out the trailer for that one. I think it's up at like 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it looks fantastic. I think I might actually go out and see that if I don't go see Blind Spotting this weekend, which is still doing very well. So either one of those looks great. So those are my picks for home and for the theater. So hopefully between one or the other, you find something that sounds interesting to you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to thank you as always for watching. You know I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. leave a comment, subscribe, hit the bell, share, do whatever you want to do, because you know I appreciate everything. And like I said, I'm going to be back with a Criterion video over the weekend, but that's going to do it for me today. So until then, that's a wrap.